Servus Männer, it's Red Pill Germany again. In this brief little video, I want to give you an update about the situation with our public broadcasting in Germany. Some people call them state media, of course. Technically, that's not true. It's public broadcasting and they're not taxpayer funded. I think Deutsche Welle is taxpayer funded, so Deutsche Welle is actually literally German state media, but this vast public broadcasting network that we have in Germany is, there is a household fee, as I mentioned many times, and technically there is not a big difference, or practically there is not a big difference between what we have and actual state media. But officially, of course, they cannot be labeled as state media. Let's call them public broadcasting service. I told you in one of my last videos that Germans are getting more and more upset. Of course, nobody wants to pay a fee for a service he doesn't use, and many people don't really consume their program, but they still have to pay for it. So that is a very fundamental source of discontentment among the German citizens and the people in Germany in general. But lately there have been other incidents, for example, that they constantly mock and insult certain parts of the German citizenry, that is traditionalist people, conservative people, right-wing people, or also classical liberals are vilified constantly on these programs, and that is just causing these people to be very upset, to say the least, with the public broadcasting services and the politicians that are still upholding this system. So now there are initiatives forming, actually, or not just recently, but I guess they are getting more people joining their ranks now. Some initiatives of German citizens who want to maybe not fight against, but maybe reform or abolish, something in between. You have the whole spectrum when it comes to the public broadcasting. So some of them want to abolish it altogether. Some of them want to finance it differently, that only the people who use it have to pay. I think in the BBC in the UK you can opt out. If you don't use the service, you don't pay. We could imagine something like this, of course, in Germany also. At the moment that is not possible. You cannot opt out of it. And some people maybe just want to reform it in other ways. For example, to make it mandatory for them to have an actual diverse outlook or a diverse portfolio of different political opinions represented on the program. Some people are already okay with that, I guess. But so there is a whole spectrum. The initiatives that I've want to present or mention here is Hallo Meinung, which means something as hello opinion. And that is basically an initiative, if I understood it correctly, to give a platform to people to speak their mind. And one of their sub categories or sub-initiatives is also to fight against this forced household fee that everyone is obliged to pay for a service they don't want or they don't use or they don't like. Then there is also the group called Rundfunk-frei, which is a similar initiative. What both these groups are suggesting, and they're offering also downloadable PDF forms so that the households in Germany or the citizens in Germany can actually maybe get on the nerves of the administration of the public broadcasting a little bit. So what they say is, first of all, you should cancel your or how should I phrase that now? So in Germany, you can grant certain organizations access to your bank account. And I know, some people around the world will have to roll their eyes in disbelief how anybody can do such a thing. But yeah, Germans sometimes do that. So when they trust someone so much that they say, okay, I have to pay a certain amount every month or every quarter, every year, I give you the right to actually access my bank account and take the money that you think I owe you. Yeah, and I have never done that. Yeah, and I always just wire them the money every quarter. And yes, sometimes I make mistakes. And I actually once, when I was on a business trip, I forgot about it and I had to pay a little fee. But what they're suggesting now is that you always wire them the money, of course, and that you maybe make some little mistakes, like you overpay 10 cent here or you underpay 25 cent there, and then their administrators would have to manually kind of write to you and ask you to kindly set your account straight or something like that. And that would create a lot of work, which requires a lot of additional manpower. And if many people do such a thing at more or less the same time or in a bunch, then that would create a lot of hassle with these administrators at the public broadcasting service. And of course, many of these suggestions of these initiatives of what the private citizens can do in order to defend themselves against this authoritarian form of state media that we have in Germany. None of them go really against the law. You don't really, these are not criminal things or unlawful things, so we are not left-wingers. Of course, when left-wingers don't like something, they just smash everything and attack people and burn stuff and chimp out, which is clearly against the law, obviously. We are conservative people, we are right-wingers, we don't do that kind of stuff, so we want to operate within the framework of the law, but with the strategy of 1,000 needles, basically. We want to attack our enemy here. And that would mean then that you, for example, you don't wire them the money anymore. That would be the next rung on the ladder of escalation. You would send it to them in a letter, basically. Yeah? The Deutsche Post, the German postal service, they offer the service that you can send money in bills and coins. Basically, you could actually pay in coins, yeah, in a letter, and if that amount is also not correct, then they maybe have to send back 50 cents in coins or something, yeah, which is also crazy for the administration. And then another thing is that you ask the public broadcasting service what kind of data they store about you in digital form, and that you require a detailed statement about what personalized data, like address, name, and paying history, whatever, what they store about you. It's a European law, and every citizen has the right to get this information, and you could do that. And this causes, again, a lot of work and a lot of hassle for the public broadcasting, and this is at the moment just what we want. And you have to bear in mind that these presenters that they have, these show hosts and these anchormen that they employ, they are basically millionaires, and they make up to hundreds of thousands or even millions of euro every year. And even the average employee, that's not even some anchorman or some celebrity, just the average administrator, the average little worker that they have, is paid much more than what you normally get paid for a similar position just in the normal administration, in the normal public sector that we have in Germany. If you're a normal administrator in some state office somewhere, you get paid much less than in the public broadcasting. And this, you have to bear in mind, ordinary citizens, ordinary households have to pay this no matter what. It is a household fee, and it's unjustifiable, I think, to overpay these people so much. And then considering that they actually work against the interests of the German people, they insult them and they spread vicious lies about events, about groups of people, about politics in general, vicious lies and defamation, and Germans have to pay for that. And then, as I said, they're overpaid when you compare that to a normal public officer or employee in the public sector. So, and against this, Germans are finally, taking a stand, of course, because these initiatives are from the right-wing side, and that means it is within the framework, within the boundaries of German law. Everything is lawful, and this is not even civil disobedience. This is just making it a little awkward for them and causing them probably to employ more people, and so that they don't have money anymore for the other stuff that they want. And this is, of course, a strategy of escalation. So that means they want to raise their wages. They want to raise the fee next year or the year after. No, this year or next year. This is what I think. It's still early in the year. I'm still confused when it comes to the date. So yeah, this year or the next year, they want to raise the fee that every household has to pay. And when this coincides with this form of activism, I think they will have to increase the fee if they want to keep everybody employed and keep these really outrageous wages and salaries that they pay the way they are. And that means that they would have to raise the fees even more, and then people become more and more discontent, especially when you consider that many people will lose their jobs or their hours will be cut down, because the German economy, as I mentioned also, will take a hit, and this will cause more and more people to become really, really angry with the public broadcasting system. And this is just the goal that these groups have, and I fully support that, of course. And I will download some of these forms myself. I will put the links in the description box below. And if you're German, or if you live in Germany, if you just have a household in Germany, you are also subject to this fee, and you can do all this stuff that is described on these web pages, and you can download these forms, and you can become an anti-public broadcasting fee activist yourself. All right. So I will, of course, keep you updated about all these things, all these matters that when it comes to the public broadcasting. That's a very, very core issue for us here in Germany, because if you control the public broadcasting, you control what the normies get to see and hear. All right, so I hope you're still safe, and I hope these birds didn't annoy you that much. I actually am very fond of them. We don't have these birds in the south of Germany, so, because I'm near the ocean now. That's why I really enjoy that. If you are from near the ocean, you find that probably really boring. I, for my part, have to say that I enjoy it very much to see these seagulls and listen to their lamentations. So with these pictures, I want to say goodbye for today. Servus, Kameraden.